if you think about entrepreneurship and university, of course you have students, but you also have professionals that can go to university via MBA program. You have students, undergraduates. You have corporates. So maybe if I break it up in this manner, um, and starting with you, for example, David, what do you think is the true value proposition of a university, someone coming out of university, whether a professional or a young graduate? And why should corporate innovation or corporate work with university to come up with innovative ideas? Why can't they do this in-house, for example?
Yeah, so this is, well, the first part of your question is actually very hot right now in a lot of education sectors about what is the value proposition of tertiary education, given how expensive it's becoming. There's, I've heard different jokes about this, but, people are saying like, oh yeah, like there's Netflix, you can pay, whatever, a few dollars, whatever it is, or Disney, you can pay, $50 or whatever, or you could pay $70,000 and get entertained by watching Harvard virtual videos of classes, right? And so if that's the case, then really is there, what is the sustained value proposition of that kind of education? And I've had a lot of debates about this with colleagues, and in some of the education related stuff that I do, this becomes quite a big topic. I mean, I think ultimately for great universities like Hong Kong and Hong Kong U, there's a lot of value, obviously, in being on campus, interacting with other students, advisors, forming networks, developing ideas, germinating different things. So I think that's, certainly there's value there. I think, and this may be a little bit, this COVID economic crisis there certainly will be a filtering out of kind of less value added type of education, tertiary education institutions. Part of that is just because the value proposition does not match. And part of that is just demographics. There are a lot of countries, and this is not just the US or any particular country, but a lot of countries where there are too many universities now, where the population is shrinking. And so those two pressures, the economic pressure as well as the demographic pressure, will certainly compel a lot of universities to merge or close, which will then provide a premium to good universities that are really committed to going down this path of, like you're saying, innovation and trying to cultivate, talent and ideas beyond just kind of the traditional way things have been taught, for hundreds of years. I think what we find and about the impetus or motivation for why companies should want to engage with universities. And that engagement happens on a lot of different layers. As Mashir will know, and some other folks will know on the call, like one thing that I was involved in administratively was kind of helping out with careers at the business school. And so I would talk to a lot of companies in Hong Kong and in the region about hiring students. So that's obviously one aspect of collaboration, but kind of moving beyond that into industrial collaboration and other ways to kind of have more, I guess, university and industrial company partnership. I think certainly that's an area we need to develop. And if you look at the history, or if you look at research about how certain ecosystems have developed, particularly in the US, oftentimes there's the research university piece, which we covered already, but normally there are kind of what are called like anchor companies that will absorb talent and then help develop that talent. And then that talent pool then goes out and starts their own companies. And so if you think of Silicon Valley, this could have been, Hewlett Packard, it could have been, in Korea, it's a company like Samsung or LG, et cetera, et cetera. And I think one of the areas that we are probably lacking is in Hong Kong, we have a lot of pillars in place, right? We have strong tertiary education, increasingly really relevant research, obviously great students, but one of the areas we're lacking in terms of forming a very robust ecosystem, one of the pieces is these kind of anchor companies that serve that purpose. And I think the case in point is, if you go to Stanford and they go through a computer science or computer engineering grad goes through recruitment, they have obviously a variety of options. Low on that list is generally going to an investment bank in technology, right? If you were to flip that around and come talk to computer science students, and some of them who I've taught, In Hong Kong, high on the list is going to an investment bank working in technology, right? And largely because we don't have those anchor companies to absorb that talent. And so that's probably the big challenge, which is why more collaboration is important.